Hello, welcome back. Sorry, I was just turning off my phone so it doesn't disturb us. Today's live stream, well, first of all, welcome back from hopefully a very lovely holiday vacation or family time or something. That's what I was doing, so if you didn't see me for about a month or a month and a half, that's what I've been up to. Now, today's live stream has sort of a purpose, and I know that my live streams tend to be very long, so I'm going to try to make this one a little more compact at the front end with a specific purpose, and then I'm going to maybe kind of take it from there so that the overall length might be longer, but the useful part, at least if you want to get the information up front, you can, and then you can do it all with me at the end. So I'm going to demonstrate, and it'll probably be, I don't know, I'm not going to guess because you can just see it if you're watching it on YouTube. But if you join us live, then on usually about this time on Fridays, then you can ask me questions and I'd love to answer them. And hopefully we can do more of these with a topic, and I'll try to let you know what that is ahead of time. But anyway, so as you can tell by the title of this video, if you're watching it, this is about when you get your braces on or get your braces off. You have to try to figure out how to play trumpet again, right? And that can be really daunting and demanding and scary. And especially if you're a really good trumpet player in your group and you play a lot of principal parts, then you feel like people are counting on you to play well. And when you suddenly get braces on, if usually that happens in high school, or if you suddenly get your braces off, especially if you've had later braces later in life, then that can be, you've got a gig coming up or something, and all of a sudden you can't play it. So I'm going to sort of walk you through what I think you should do. Now, a caveat statement is that I have never had braces. I was playing trumpet almost professionally around the time that I would have gotten braces, and they didn't have the behind-the-teeth braces yet. So I opted not to get them at all because there wasn't really anything structurally wrong with my teeth. They just didn't look good, and they still don't look good. But the other caveat statement that I need to make is that I do change my dentition. I can't even speak because it's in there. I do change my dentition and sort of trying to get an ideal setup for trumpet. And so when that happens, though, it's like a whole new set of teeth every time, because it literally is. So that's where I'm at. That's what I've also been doing over the last couple of weeks, is trying to get my teeth in their final form. And while I don't care to discuss that at length very much, trust me when I say it feels just like when you get braces on or off. There's a huge change in the distance between your teeth and your muscles. And that's what happens. So let's start there. What happens when you play trumpet, when you make an embouchure? Well, you may not have ever thought about this before, but basically, and I'm going to use myself as a mirror here, my computer as a mirror rather. Basically, if you make an embouchure, right, like you're going to play, like go like you're going to play trumpet. Well, all your muscles contract into your teeth, and then they move along the teeth, right? So if you have, everybody's teeth generally is shaped like this, right, like a parabola, and so or an arch, I guess, is more. It doesn't go out at the ends. And so when you pull, your orbicularis oris gets pulled across the teeth a little bit. That's this muscle here. And then these muscles pull back this way because they're contracting that way, right? But you have some muscles here that can hold them in place, and that's what we call our corners, right? So that's kind of the basics of what's happening. We don't want to smile when we play, right? We don't want to stretch our lips at all. We want to keep them in place. And so we kind of have these muscles, their job is to keep these corners solid. And then everything else just kind of buffs up in place. But you have to remember it's pulling in against the teeth always. And so that's why when you change your dentition, whether it's getting braces on or off, or maybe you chip a tooth or lose a tooth, right? Then all of a sudden the way that works is different, right? So let's say, for instance, you lost a tooth, like right here. Okay, well now there's a hole there. And so your muscle is going to pull in, and it's going to fall into that hole, and now it's going to have to sort of ball up on the hole so that it doesn't just like kind of get sucked in there, or worse, blow out because the air blows the lip, right? So it's all very complicated. You don't need to think about it too much, but it's good to have an upfront understanding of like what's going on when I get when my teeth change. Well, that's what it is. The intersection of the muscle wall to the teeth feels different because it's a different distance, whether that's out or in. So what happens when it's out? Well, that happens faster. So whatever you used to do is sort of on steroids. It happens faster, but it also is in the way, and so it restricts your ability to keep your lips together to vibrate. And so at first, you sort of lose some range. You can't get any response, right, when you first get your braces on. Everything feels bad. You have to find something to put on your braces, of course. I've had the most success with students putting on the little strip that goes over the brads, so that it's like one long tooth that's very thin on the top and bottom, right? And that seems to work best for them because it protects them from the pointiest bits. But people have success with dental wax and other things like that too. But okay, so when that happens though, you stop being, you lose the interface here. So that's the first thing we want to work on. And then after some time, you learn how to do this better. And because the teeth are bigger, everything kind of works a little faster. Maybe not efficiently, maybe it's not great, but you usually gain a little high range when you have your braces on, because that intersection in the front is further out, and so you're pressing into it sooner. And even if it's not a good sound, or if it's maybe it's very thin, or you can't get the response always in that range, you usually get a little bit of extra range that you didn't used to have, and that's kind of neat. But guess what? When you get your braces off, you lose all that, and you still have no response and all that stuff. So, but the main thing is you've got to get the vibration started in an efficient and healthy way first, right? And then the rest of the stuff will sort of work out around it. So we'll talk about sort of shapes and vectors and things like that as we go along. But we're going to start off now. Here we are 7 minutes in. And I think that's a pretty good understanding of what's going on. So let's talk about how to mitigate it. I like to start with a free buzz, because that's just the buzz. Not everybody can free buzz. It's okay if you can't. But if you can't, you're going to follow along with us anyway, because you can probably do some of the stuff. So I start with just a horse buzz, right? My teeth are a different shape. I don't know how to do what I used to do anymore physically, right? I know what I want it to sound like and feel like, but I don't know how to do it. So I'm just going to start with something that is that anybody can do with any kind of teeth, any kind of lips, any kind of positioning, all that stuff. Oh no. My former student says there's no volume, which is bad. Oh, but now it just started up, so we're good. Maybe that was, I don't know. I don't know what that was. My stream is good. My levels are good. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to start with just some free buzzing, right? And we're going to start with just what I call a horse buzz, because everybody's lips and teeth are different. Like I said, some people have a lot of material in their lips, right? Some people have, it's like muscly material. Sometimes it's like jelly material, probably fattier tissue. Sometimes the lip shape is, it's just different. Everything is different. But if you play trumpet, you know how to get it there, except now our teeth have changed, right? So now we have to figure something else out. So we're all just going to start the same way. Just a nice horse buzz. You don't want to do it for too long because it'll cause your lips to swell before you're ready to use them. But just do it until it feels really comfortable to do. You can even do it lower. But as soon as you can, you want to start to feel, oh, the classic. We've fallen victim to our classic. I think it's like 9 minutes in and it just freezes. So I'm gonna give it one more kind of chance to behave here, and we'll see how long this lasts. Otherwise, I'll just can it and we'll delete the stream, and I'll do it a different time when I can figure it out. But okay, so horse buzz, you want to feel these corners here starting to come in as we do this. So and then at some point it'll do that. You won't be able to keep it buzzing anymore. And so now we're just going to go even, we're just going to restart right where we left off. And we'll get a little bit more ceiling to it, right? We'll have a little more room up there. And you're also rolling your lips in a little bit. And remember, if you don't have anything on braces, this part even will hurt. So you need to find something to put on there. Like I said, the strips or the dental wax are my favorite, but there are some other solutions out there now. So make sure you put that in before you start. So and you may not be able to go as high as you used to if you could free buzz before, and that's okay too. Just make sure that it's buzzing. The buzz feels concentric, first of all, in the middle, right? And that it feels like it's going to continue to work, that it's happening, right? In other words, I don't want it to feel like it's right on the edge of, like if I buzz any higher than that, it's like it doesn't want to work half the time. It's like it's struggling to respond. Well, that's the opposite of what I want. I want easy response. So, but I'm learning how to use my muscles around my new teeth, right? That's the idea. So, and you're going to want to start with a poo attack. Once you get up this high, up to a normal trumpet range, you're going to want to start with a poo, a p, pa, pa, and your tongue should be a part of this too, right? Not at the lip, but almost right behind it. Oh, well, it lasted a little longer this time. Sometimes it kind of behaves after a while again. So the tongue needs to be guiding the air to that vortex, that vortex of air to that spot, so that it wants to vibrate right away. And if it's all the way in the bottom of your mouth, you'll get that kind of like crackly unbuzz buzz, right? So you really need the tongue to help guide the air to that spot that's going to vibrate. Now, I want to stop for a second and do a plug because there's a new device on the market that I haven't been able to talk about for a year that's finally actually out. It's called the Embouchure by Tom Hooten, E-M-B-O-S-H-U-R-E, Embouchure. And it looks like this. Now, it's a great device for anybody who wants to work on their embouchure, but I think it's really going to change things. I think it's going to really revolutionize things. And this is the perfect device for trying to figure this stuff out. Now, it is going to be some more metal in your mouth if you've got new braces, so you got to be very careful. You don't want to pull your braces off, right? Because this little edge could get caught in the brads. But it helps you define your aperture, the center of your buzz, right? Helps you define that. It also helps you engage the mouthpiece the right way. And then if you let it go, you start buzzing. You're just blowing through this tube and then all of a sudden you're buzzing. And it's fantastic. I've been using it for a little over a year now. And I really like it. I couldn't talk about it because it wasn't officially out, and now I can. And now it's doing this thing again. Man. Okay, well, I'm not going to stop streaming because of it, but, I mean, like, over time. I am just going to have to figure out some streaming computer solution. But, okay, so, I'll show you how to use it real quickly. I'm still working on it. So you grab the tube at the end. I didn't really give you a good look at it. You grab the tube at the end there, right? That's coming in and out. There's a better shot of it. And you grab that with your aperture. You blow through it. And then this is just a cutout, what I call a cutout. It comes off actually, see? So that's just a visualizer, we call it, as well. But I always call it cutout because it's like a mouthpiece that's cut out. And I actually secretly call this whole thing the Hooten out because it's Tom Hooten's cutout. Anyway, so a little plug for that. We're going to do it without that because not very many people have that yet. And I want to do a whole episode on just that device once I feel really comfortable about how to use it and have watched all his videos and everything. But buy one. It's expensive, but it's absolutely amazing. Get one right away. You can also get, you won't need one if you get that because you'll already have one, but just a regular cutout can help here too, where you're just practicing the poo attack and you're practicing putting pressure on. And so let's walk through that really quickly because we're going to do it on the mouthpiece, and I want to recap it when we do that. So how do you do it? Well, we've already got our free buzz, and you don't. If you're working on this, don't free buzz for 10 minutes. Free buzz for 2 minutes, right? Just get comfortable with it, and you want to eventually get to the horn as fast as possible. So okay, we got our cutout here. That's another step we could take, right? And what I'm going to do is I want to put my mouth in an M position, like I'm saying the letter M, or I'm very, it was very yummy, right? So you're pressing your lips together a little bit, not a lot, but just enough, right? Rolling them in and pressing them together a little bit. Then you're going to get the mouthpiece close, like literally touching, but with no pressure, okay? And then you're going to go from to puckering a little bit. So that's pushing your lips back out, right? So is going to set your aperture, and then the pucker is going to help you engage the mouthpiece a little bit so that you're not pressing into thin flesh, you're pressing into fatter, muscular flesh, right? So I got touch, that's my pucker, and then I'm going to breathe through the corners here. And I don't want to stretch out my lip and go, that's going to make my lip thin where I'm about to press. When I'm pressing, that's bad. I want to keep a thicker lip because that's what's going to protect me from injury and pain, right? If I've got braces or if I don't. Both of those, I don't want a thin lip. I want as fat a lip there as I can keep vibrating, right? So I've got touch, pucker. And you could, if you want, breathe through the nose here, but I need to eventually get, and then you just see what comes out, right? And some pressure will need to be added, but it's really not a lot. Try to do all of these exercises with as little pressure as feels secure to you, especially if you've got braces that you didn't have before. If you just got them on, then you want to really be very gentle at first, right? So that's the cutout. But now we're going to play just a regular mouthpiece. And I recommend this in the hand as opposed to in the burp, right? If you have one of these devices that puts your mouthpiece on the trumpet like that, it's really great for regular practice. But for what we're doing right now, we want to really be very gentle about it. And so I'll use this soon. So I'm just going to I'm going to do the exact same thing, right? Touch, pucker. I didn't wet my lips, pucker. And then I'm going to breathe through the corners. My corners are not going to move, right? And just let whatever come out at first, right? You're going to do this a bunch of times. So and I like to do this because it helps me control where the pressure is. Sometimes we have funny pressure things, especially if you just got your braces off. Sometimes you are relying on the rails of the braces to kind of, pull your lip in a certain way. And now you're going to try to mimic that, and it's going to be bad for your playing overall. So you're going to want to hold it in such a way that you can tell if you're pressing more on one side or the other, or the top or bottom. Right? And so just 4 fingers around the rim, right, in sort of a square. And you can stabilize it with your pinkies if you want, just so you don't drop it. Or your whole hand, but it's likely that you'll press harder if you're using a lot of fingers. And you just kind of... Just like the free buzzing, we're just trying to get a poo attack to work here. And we've got our M embouchure, our placement, our pucker, and then our poo, right? So, Excellent. Well, it's lasting a little bit longer somehow. I'm still wondering if it's the camera's memory or if it's the computer. It's got to be the computer, right? There's just got to be a better way to do it. Anyway, so okay, so that's what we're going to do on the mouthpiece. And this is going to be a jerk to me now, huh? Again, as soon as I move on, it decides to pass on. Okay, maybe this will work now. So let's say we've done that a bunch, and then I want to get it on the trumpet as fast as possible because I don't know what tones I'm going to be able to get out of it. But as long as I can get a response, I can get something to come out. So I might do those poo attacks on the mouthpiece for 5 or 10 minutes even, especially if I'm not having a lot of success. I need to have success there. Again, very light pressure, right? And that's going to be even more important now that we're getting the whole trumpet out, because it's so easy to add pressure, especially levered pressure, right? The way that we usually hold the horn, we've got a little more ability to press on the bottom lip, right, because of our left hand, than the top lip. And a lot of people don't use the pinky ring. I think that's a mistake. I think you want to use it so that you can balance the pressure, right? You don't want to put it all up there, but you want to put some of it so that it's balanced between the hands, and one is above the mouthpiece slightly, and one is significantly below the mouthpiece. And so that's going to help balance it out. But for this exercise, we really want to use as little pressure as possible at first, and then we can gradually add pressure as we go to with the embouchure protecting our chops from our new teeth, whether they're more or less forward or whatever, right? And you have to remember too that there's all this new architecture along the sides of your mouth too, and you're going to have to deal with that. And so that might change too. You might need to put some wax back there if you have braces, just to let your cheek slide against the teeth a little bit easier, right? But okay, so I'm just going to play whatever note comes out again, and with whatever buzz, with whatever buzz, just the same way we worked on with the mouthpiece. Oh, I caught it that time. It's really unwatchable, I know. You'll notice a little shake in the sound. That's because my muscles are trying to figure out what to do. But if I play really softly, then I can play with very light pressure. And then as I want to play a little louder, I put a little more air through, and I allow a little more pressure. And it feels like the air balances out the pressure, but in fact, it's also the muscles that are figuring out how to guide that air into the trumpet better, and still vibrate, right? So we want to just kind of like start off really soft, maybe do a lot of things soft for a long time, and we're just doing some basic, I call these alarm clock tones in my warm-ups, right? We're just doing some paw, paw, we're just getting that response to work on the trumpet. And then when we put a little more air into it, we're hoping for a little bit better sound, maybe a little more stability in the tone and in the buzz, right? And we just want to work our way up to long tones. So if you're not sure like what to play, I like to just make it up personally. But if you're not sure what to play, First Studies in the Arban's book is a great place to go. And I'll show you in a second my Arban's book here. I like to show it off because I have a very nice old, won't even last long enough for me to show it to you. Okay, maybe this time I can get it. There we go. And First Studies is the very first thing you'll see in the book that's actually notes. I'm looking at number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Let's try our new trick, which is where I shut the camera off briefly. A great suggestion in the chat that I should switch glasses and hats every time it turns off. That would be great. if it wasn't so annoying that it turns off in the first place. So we're just trying to get something happening, and if we don't know what to play, First Studies is a great place to go. And so I'm just going to play some of number 7, and I'm going to switch to number 10, I think, and just kind of work my way through different things. Always soft, always poo attacks, right? We haven't even started tonguing yet. We're not worried about that. We're just trying to get something to come out of the trumpet that works with whatever our changes have been. So. Again, I'm not concerned about what it sounds like. I just want to make sure that it doesn't hurt and that it can work a little bit. I can always figure out how to make it sound better later, but if I haven't done a lot of playing yet on, like I said, we'll just call it my new teeth, whatever that means, right? For braces off or on, I need to just be careful, right? Be patient and careful and soft. Okay, here we go on number, I don't know, let's try 10. I really like 10, actually. 10 is good because you're doing intervals. It's very predictable, and it starts off pretty low, whereas 7 and 8 go up pretty high right away. So. So, like I said, it's not sounding great all the time, and you have to just be okay with that at first, right? We're just trying to get it to work, and I'm trying to be a very good steward of it. I can make it sound better right now, but I also need this, right? I need to make sure that it's all working the right way, and you want to pay attention to how it's working, right? If something is, if you feel like, for instance, that time my levator muscles up here, when they decided to actually do some work, I got a much better result. And if I want to get this figured out quickly, I need to be cognizant of those kinds of things. So let's do another one. Let's just do the next one after I reset this. It's just untenable, you guys. That time, it literally froze as soon as it came back on. I really do have to figure out why it does it. Anyway. So I'm just playing some First Studies in this way. There's also a great book by John Daniel called Special Studies that has you do like subtone entrances and do some intervals. And I really love that book. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't want to misrepresent it, except to say that it's really great, and I use it a lot with my students at school when they're working on embouchure things. And this, you have to consider this an embouchure thing, right? Because it's messing with your embouchure. You're trying to get your embouchure to work better just like you would if you were going through an embouchure change for some other reason. Your dentition changed, so now you have a new embouchure because that's part of it. But okay, so we can also do, we all know what long tones are, but we can do, I guess, a couple of them. And I would actually personally do long tones probably intermittently with stuff like First Studies, because the First Studies is going to help me get the notes to speak, but the long tones is going to really invest in how, like, me memorizing how I want to play all the time. So if I get a good one, and maybe that's the solution, right? It's like, let me do a bunch of poo attacks and interval studies, and when I get a really good one, I'm just going to hold on to it until I run out of breath. You can also use a Schlossberg book for this. It's a great book, but it's less oriented on first notes and more oriented towards slurs, which is what we're going to do next anyway, right? So just gentle, I call them non-lip slurs, right? I don't want my lips to curl in and move around a lot when I do lip slurs anyway, but it's especially true when something has changed inside with my teeth. So I'm just going to do them. I'll give one more reset, and then I'll sign off after the end. So here we go. Some gentle lip slurs, very soft again, especially true here. Just try to get, well, we can't have that be the frozen picture. But very soft, not a lot of lip action, just the air doing its job. Yeah, these are all bad. Got to stop making bad faces. I guess I could just leave it black, but. So if you do it like this, before long, you'll have sort of a sense of how it can work. And then you can start worrying about your normal routine. Then you can start worrying about really producing a good sound. Now, I don't want to leave it with a terrible sound, right, every day. I want to see how good I can get it. But at first, you might have to just be satisfied with that the response can happen. And it might be quite a while before you actually get some kind of good sounds to happen. But of course, you're going to listen to good sounds. You're still going for good sounds all the time. You just have to be patient, and it's not so much waiting. It's like I'm trying to figure it out each time, and hopefully I'm getting a little closer each time. But if I don't for a couple of days, well, that might be how it is when you get braces on, especially. When you get them off, it takes a while just to get your muscles to kind of get back in the right shape because they were all stretched out before. But usually you can sound better faster. So anyway, sorry about all the stops and starts. My setup still sucks, I guess. It was good and then it wasn't, so who knows. But I'm going to cut it off here before it gets any worse, and I'm going to finish my routine. So I hope you enjoyed the information at least, and it was good to see some people on, and I'm frozen again, so goodbye.